Hey YouTube, sorry about the lighting. It's not perfect, but it'll have to do. My partner and I had a couple experiences tonight that I thought were noteworthy at the very least. We had a few different experiences with a few different people while we were out knocking on doors looking for somebody. So we go to the first house, and the lady is super nice. She's like, come on in, my husband's not home, and me and my daughter are here alone, and he was supposed to be home an hour ago and hasn't made it yet. And both my partner and I were like, probably shouldn't be telling just anybody that. Well, we move on to the next house. The next house, first thing we notice is, one, we're way out in the woods, way out in the country. And the house has lots of windows, nice glass doors in the front, no sidewalk up to the front door, but there were blackout curtains over everything, over all the windows, over the doors, over the little windows on each side of the door. I mean, the house from the front was pitch black. You look around the side and all the lights in the house are on. So that was a clue that maybe somebody didn't want to be messed with. But it was a very old address that came up in one of our online searches that we thought was worth checking out because it might be a parent or an aunt, uncle, something like that. So we knock on the door, and on the other side of the door I hear, who is it? And I said, bail bondsman, I'm trying to find so-and-so. She said, well, I didn't order no bail bondsman, and there's no need for you to be here. And I'm like, well, ma'am, do you know so-and-so? And she's like, I told you you didn't need to be here. You need to get off my property before I call the cops. Like, oh, well, ma'am, are we, at least at the right place? I'm trying to get this lady to talk to me. It's just, I told you to get off my property. So when she said, if you get off my property or I'm gonna, from where we were at, I was kind of expecting her to say, shoot you. But she didn't. She said, call the cops, which that wouldn't have bothered me in the least. But at that point, we made the determination, this is such an old address on the report. I mean, so far down on the list on the report, we were really just grasping at straws. But my partner asked me, she said, now, what if that lady would have started racking off shots through the door and hit you, and in an attempt to get you out safely, I returned fire and injured or killed her? And my first reaction was, you'd probably go to prison. And she was like, I thought so. But you never know, if you're defending yourself and you can clearly make a case that you're defending yourself, I don't know how that would go, because technically we were on private property. Technically we were trespassing. The only reason we had to be there was to either eliminate the address or obtain information about the subject we were looking for. But that address wasn't anywhere on our original paperwork. It just came up in one of our database searches. So, I just don't know. My gut tells me that if she would have shot me, I'd have just been dead or injured, and it would have been unfortunate, but it's the risks you take in this job. Anyway, we go to our next address that's way out in the woods again, not far from where we're at now, where we were at. And the lady's, I can see her peeking through the window, but she don't want to come to the door. There's a fence separating us from the yard to the door. And before before I could open the gate, you know, she saw the badge and she saw my partner, and she came outside. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know, people don't normally visit me up here. This is all family land." And it was like 10 houses on one piece of property, and they were all related. And she came out and she was super nice. And earlier my partner said, "Well, we got the way too nice chick and we got the crazy chick. Why can't we just find a happy medium? You know, somebody that'll just talk to us." So this lady just talked to us. She was super nice, actually super helpful, and we sat there and we talked about all kind of things. I mean, I wound up knowing her history before I left there. Really nice lady. Wasn't able to give us any real direct information, but she did point us in a really good direction on the guy that we're looking for. So those are just some of the things you experience while you're out there, and you do have to be prepared while you're knocking on doors for that irate person that doesn't care who you are. They don't care what you're there for. They're a private person. They don't want you knocking on their door, and that's just that. So you can't be super aggressive with those people. It's their property, it's their house, and if you back them into a corner and they choose to defend their home, I don't think there's a whole lot that would be done to them legally, you know. Maybe civilly, but probably not criminally. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not giving legal advice. This is just strictly my opinion and gut feeling. Anyway, I thought that story was worth sharing because we kind of got the broad spectrum all in one night, and there was one moment that things could have gotten kind of sticky, but it didn't. Everybody got home safe, but we didn't find our guy. We know where to go find him now. From knocking on doors, from getting out there, from talking to people. Anyway, that's all for now. Ben the Bondsman signing out. And remember, bail bonding isn't what we do, it's who we are.